I moved into a new apartment. Now a shadow in my dreams is begging me to solve his murder. The dreams started on my 5th night in the new apartment. At first, they were subtle. I'd see flickers of someone just outside my bedroom door. Not fully formed, just a shadow lingering. The kind that disappears the moment you try to focus on it. I brushed it off as stress. I had just moved across the country, trying to reset my life after a breakup and a job I hated. The apartment was old but cozy. Wooden floors, a creaky staircase, and windows that overlooked a quiet street in a forgotten corner of town. Cheap, too suspiciously cheap, but I didn't ask questions. I needed out, and this place felt like escape. But every night since, the dreams grew worse. The hallway in my dream stretched longer than it should. The wallpaper began to peel. I heard tapping sounds from the ceiling, like someone was walking just above me. Except, there was no upstairs. And always, I saw the same thing at the end of the dream. A tall black shadow standing by the window, not moving, just staring. Then I'd wake up. Every single time. Same place. Same feeling of pressure on my chest. Like someone had just been sitting on me. On the 8th night, something changed. In the dream, the shadow pointed at the wall near the kitchen. The wall twisted. Words began to appear in smeared red. Not a suicide. I jolted awake, heart pounding. That phrase echoed in my head all morning. I tried to laugh it off. I even joked with a coworker that my new place was probably haunted. But deep down, something felt wrong. That phrase, that shadow, and the weirdest part? That wall, the one the shadow pointed at in the dream, had a strange discoloration in real life. Like someone had painted over a large stain and never fully covered it. I couldn't stop staring at it. The next night, I went to sleep earlier than usual. Not because I was tired, I just wanted to see what would happen. I needed to know if it was just my brain playing games, or if something more was going on. The dream returned, like it was waiting for me. This time, I didn't just see the shadow. I followed it. It moved slowly down the hallway of my apartment. But in the dream, the space looked older. The wallpaper was ripped. Parts of the ceiling were blackened from what looked like fire damage. Everything was decaying. Like I had stepped back into an abandoned version of my own home. The shadow led me to the kitchen wall again. But now, there was something written in chalk, barely visible. Help me. They lied. Then I saw something horrifying. From the base of the wall, a dark liquid started oozing out. Thick, black, and slow like oil. It formed a shape. A face. A man's face. His eyes opened and looked directly at me. I screamed myself awake. I couldn't go back to sleep that night. I sat in the kitchen, drinking cold coffee, just watching the wall. And that's when I finally decided to look into the history of this apartment. I started with the building records. The local town office had archives, mostly boring legal documents, rental agreements, and repair logs. Then I found something strange. 6 weeks before I moved in, a man named Liam Ortega had died in this apartment. The cause? Suicide. Jumped from the window. Case closed in less than 48 hours. No investigation. No autopsy beyond a single line. Death by fall. Self-inflicted. But something about that didn't sit right with me. Why did the dreams start so specifically with that wall? Why the message? Not a suicide. Why was Liam showing me this? The next night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I sat in front of the kitchen wall with a notebook, a flashlight, and 3 cups of coffee. Around 2:47 a.m., I started feeling dizzy. My eyes got heavy. I blinked slowly, and suddenly, I wasn't in my kitchen anymore. The dream had pulled me in without warning. This time, I wasn't just watching the shadow. I was the shadow. I saw the apartment from a different perspective, low to the ground, crawling. I could hear muffled voices arguing in the other room. Then a sharp sound. A scream. A man yelled, "You think I wouldn't find out?" Then silence. Suddenly, I was standing, no longer the shadow, just an observer. I watched a tall woman walk into the kitchen, covered in something dark. Her face was pale, her eyes cold. She opened a drawer and pulled out a pair of gloves. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. She walked over to the window, opened it, and then I saw him, Liam, unconscious, bleeding from the head. She dragged him to the edge. "They'll believe it," she whispered. Then she pushed him. I gasped and woke up, breathless. This time I didn't wait. I started digging deeper into Liam Ortega's life. His social media had been wiped. Completely. No photos, no posts, nothing. But I found a few tagged pictures from friends. In some of them, he was with a girl. After reverse image searching, I found her name, Melissa Crane. She still lived in the city, still posting, still alive. And from what I could see, she had moved on pretty quickly from Liam's death. Too quickly. Melissa Crane. That name was stuck in my head all day. I couldn't shake the image of her face from the dream. Cold, calculating, completely detached as she pushed Liam's body out the window. I wasn't even sure if it was really her, or just my subconscious assigning blame. But something about the dream felt too detailed, too real. I took a chance and messaged one of Liam's old friends, whose name I found in a tagged post. Didn't expect a reply, but he responded within an hour. I asked if he knew anything weird about Liam's death. He paused for a while, then sent a voice message. Look man, everyone said suicide, but Liam wasn't that type. He was happy. He had plans. We were gonna move in together. And he just found out something about Melissa. Something big. He said he had proof. But the next day, he was gone. That was it. I knew I had to find Melissa. I started watching her social media activity. Most of her posts were curated travel photos, motivational quotes, random selfies. But one post stood out. A photo of her holding hands with a man I hadn't seen before. The caption said, "Grateful for second chances." I reverse searched his image too. His name was Ethan Shore. Took some digging, but I found a connection. Ethan used to work at the same company as Liam. Same floor, same department, and, according to some archived LinkedIn data, they were rivals. I was beginning to see the picture form. Liam found out Melissa and Ethan were involved. Maybe it was financial. Maybe it was personal. Either way, someone wanted him quiet. And the dreams? They weren't just dreams. They were Liam's way of screaming from the other side. That night, Liam didn't wait for me to fall asleep. I was lying in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling, when suddenly, the room shifted. The air got cold. Not like AC too low cold, this was bone deep. And then, in the blink of an eye, I was back in the dream world. But this one felt different. I wasn't in my apartment. I was inside a dimly lit office, Liam's old workplace, maybe. Desks lined the room, flickering lights above. I saw Liam at his desk, reading something on his laptop. He looked anxious. Then I saw her, Melissa, standing behind him with Ethan. They were whispering, watching him, waiting. Liam turned, noticed them, and quickly closed his laptop. The dream blurred. Now I was in a parking lot. Then, Liam was on the phone pacing. I heard his voice. I have everything backed up. If anything happens to me, they'll know. Then silence. A shadow moved behind him. The dream fractured again. I was back in my apartment. The real one. But the wall, the kitchen wall, was glowing faintly. A drawer in my cabinet slowly slid open by itself. Inside, tucked behind a plastic bag, was an old USB stick. My hands shook. I plugged it in. There were files. Dozens of them. Screenshots. Emails. Bank transfers between Ethan and Melissa. A fake account. A scheme to siphon money from Liam's firm. Liam had discovered it all. And paid the price. Now I had what he needed to expose them. But the final dream gave me something more. The exact time, location, and date of the accident. There were inconsistencies in the police report. I gathered everything. The messages. The USB. The files. I sent it anonymously to Liam's old firm, the police, and every media outlet I could find. The fallout was fast. Within a week of my anonymous tip, an internal investigation began at Liam's old firm. By the third day, Melissa and Ethan were suspended. Day 5, both were arrested. Bank records didn't lie. The firm had been slowly drained of thousands over a 6-month period, and Liam had been the only one who noticed. He had reported it internally, but his concerns were dismissed. The final blow? One of the emails showed Melissa convincing Liam to meet her to talk things out. The night before his death. But Liam never made it to work again. The story made headlines. Whistleblower's death reinvestigated after new evidence emerges. I never stepped forward. I never had to, but I started sleeping again. The dreams stopped. No more shadows, no more cold air, no more whispering from the walls. Just silence. Until one night, a week after the arrests, I woke up to a soft knock on my bedroom door. It was 3:09 a.m. My heart stopped. I walked over, opened it. No one there, except a note on the ground. It read, "Thank you, El." I looked up. The hallway was empty, quiet, still, and that was it. Liam Ortega finally rested. I stayed in that apartment for 6 more months before moving to a new city. No more dreams. No more strange messages. Just peace. But I kept the USB drive. Not because I needed proof, but because I wanted to remember. Sometimes the dead don't want revenge. They just want the truth to be heard. And someone to listen.